One of the things that was very clear from travelling around the country and meeting with people and asking them whether they voted, and if they didn't, why they didn't, was that people just felt that their voice didn't count, that it didn't make any difference. And it wasn't that they weren't interested in politics. When you pressed them, in fact, they were interested in all sorts of political issues, whether it was about the war, whether it was about how they wanted to see politics happen locally, the issues affecting their communities, whether it was about the environment or whether it was about poverty. There were many issues on which people had very passionate feelings, but they didn't feel that their view was taken into account by politicians. And what was interesting about it was that they felt that it was really something to do with the system, that it didn't work anymore, and that being asked to vote once every 4 or 5 years just didn't do it for them. The report was produced, and of course it did make a wave, and people did feel that it was the beginning of a bigger debate about how do we refresh the system, how do we renew democracy, and the leaders of political parties were very interested. But as we watched over this last almost a year, it became very clear that whatever the politicians, whatever the goodwill, the problem is asking politicians to change the rules of the game that they play. Because they're always going to try and fix the rules in the best way that works for them. What we have to have are debates or ways in which the public themselves actually get to set the rules. That's what we have to campaign for. Our voices to be heard in the way that the new rules are produced. So what we really need are serious debates on the big issues, and we need the rules around those constitutional changes to be made with the people taking part in the debates. Some of these big key issues, we want our voices heard. We want to say how the House of Lords should be reformed. We want to say how party funding should be done, and we want to have a debate about that. We want to be heard on local politics. We want to make this an issue, and we really have to have our voices heard. And that's the point of a campaign, is to say the rules of the game can't always be set by you guys. Persuading them that perhaps we should all be allowed to have a say in how the rules might be changed is going to be hard. That's why we have to get people to come together and to say to the politicians, these are the changes we would like to see, or these are the debates we want to see. And I don't think that we should just let it happen to us. We should be much more instrumental. And so what we want to say is we can come together in a campaign to say that our democracy matters, that the only way of delivering on those bread and butter issues, which are about our local politics, about the safety in our streets, about street lighting, about whether our refuse is collected, or the big things which are about war, or whether it's about Trident, or whatever it's about, people want a way of rallying. And we feel that there should be a campaign because essentially it's about the nature of our democracy, and we've got to get that democracy working well, and in changing that, getting it to work well, creating rules around our democracy which are going to work for us, we will actually help to deliver on those other issues, the bread and butter issues, which every one of us is concerned about. So the thing is, we have to get the architecture right, we have to get the structures right, we have to get the rules right, and I want everybody to come in behind it. And what happens is, when I go to any meeting, people say to me, where do I start? How do I sign up? What can I do? And this is what you can do. Become part of this campaign.